Running a small business means I wear lots of hats. When I put on my hiring hat, I can count on LinkedIn Hiring Pro to make it easy. LinkedIn Hiring Pro helps manage my hiring workflow, puts my job post in front of a unique network of professionals, and matches me with the best candidates for my business. I can also share my job with my network. No other job site lets me do that. No wonder most small businesses say they'd use LinkedIn Hiring Pro again. Hire right the first time. Post your job for free on LinkedIn today at linkedin.com/quality.
Pay's checkout is offered by your banks and credit unions. So when you shop online at participating merchants, your cards appear in one place. Pay's. It checks out. Activation required. See Pays.com to learn more. Terms and conditions apply.
Hi, Ryan Reynolds here for Mint Mobile. Are you looking for a beach read this summer? May I suggest your big wireless bill? It's got suspense, mystery, a slightly flat emotional arc, and a shocking twist where you realize you've been overpaying the entire time. Fortunately, though, Mint's story is better. Every plan, $15 a month, even unlimited. That's it. Happy ending, zero tears. Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3 months, $90 for 6 months, or $180 for 12-month plan required. $15 per month equivalent. Taxes and fees extra. Initial plan term only. Greater than 50 gigabytes may slow when network is busy. See terms.
The Daily Braw. This is anything but footy at the Glasgow 2026 Commonwealth Games.
Medals of joy, moments of concern in Glasgow. I'm Michael.
And in Glasgow, I'm John, and we round up quite the day of action on day one from these Commonwealth Games in our news from the Games, in swimming, gymnastics and powerlifting for the home nations.
Don't forget as well, you can hear all the action every day on TalkSport. You can listen via their website, on DAB Digital Radio, on AM via your smart speaker, or on the TalkSport app.
This is Anything But Footy with the Daily Braw from the biggest sporting event in the UK this year.
So, day one, we are done. 9 more to go. Not that I'm counting down, but the first medals have been won. We have a medals table already, which is showing some interesting reading and may well be a pointer to how things are going to be in 9 days' time at the end of this brilliant games. But yes, day one, always good, I think, with these multi-sport events when the actual sport gets underway and the medals start being awarded. All those other little niggles, concerns, challenges that people have just seem to melt away the minute that you hear the first anthem and you see the first athletes on the podium.
And what a start at the swimming, where you were last night for TalkSport, particularly for Scotland. And we always talk about this, the host nation, how good it is if they can get success early. And despite my little contretemps with Duncan Scott yesterday morning, when I did an interview with him after he'd qualified 5th for the 200-metre individual medley, he certainly showed his mettle last night.
Yeah, so I was there. I was at Tollcross International for the swimming last night, and that was the first rendition of Flower of Scotland. And what a rendition of Flower of Scotland it was in that sort of tight, intimate Tollcross swimming venue. For Duncan Scott, winning in that men's 200 metres IM final as well. Tom Dean of Team England, triple Olympic champion, I think he is, who won the bronze medal in the same race. I spoke to both of them afterwards, actually. And, you know, Tom was talking about some of the challenges he's had this season. He's now actually training with Duncan Scott, which I think is really interesting that the two of them are training together. He's had a bit of a shoulder injury as well, Tom Dean. But I think this, for him, he was saying, is the start to his progress or his work towards LA. But yeah, Duncan Scott, I mean, I think has probably been, you know, we always anoint a face of the game. I think he's probably been, the face of the games. He's been the one that's been on a lot of the posters. He loved the fact that I was wearing a Gold Coast 2018 polo shirt, because, of course, for a lot of people, that's kind of where he kind of burst through, one heap of medals in Gold Coast, and everyone was talking about this new swimmer, Duncan Scott, and he's been part of this brilliant cohort with the likes of Adam Ramsay Peaty, Tom Dean that I mentioned, and others. So I think for Scotland, we talk about the word momentum. I've talked about the word momentum a lot already this week. For Scotland, that was a bit of momentum. And certainly Katie Shanahan, who won the silver medal in the women's 200 metres backstroke final, and Faye Rogers, who won the gold, which is a really interesting story in itself. Both of them said to me, look, we were really inspired tonight just by being in the call room, hearing what Duncan had done, hearing that anthem. It really did lift us.
Well, you mentioned that Duncan, the face of the games. I said that to him in the interview. I've seen you in, promoting the games, seen you out and about playing netball and things. And is it good to be back in the day job? And he took that as though I was criticising him slightly. Now, Duncan can have strong opinions, and rightly so. He, as you say, he's a world-class athlete, and he'll do what he do. But he basically said, "Oh, what's wrong with promoting the games? Maybe Talk Sport should do more swimming." At which point, he literally started to walk off in the mix zone. So I followed him down the mix zone with my microphone. I said, "Well, actually, we are, and we're doing commentary tonight." So he stopped and gave me another answer. So it was one of those moments in the games where he could have walked off, and I would have sat there being foolish. I felt like I said the right thing. I got him back on side, and I hope now he understands that. Yeah, look, Talksport are not going to cover swimming week in, week out, but it's right that they are covering these Commonwealth Games as they did the Olympic Games. And I'm delighted that he got that gold medal. And something that I heard on Talksport last night with Greg Rutherford and Natalie Sawyer talking about him and about how he keeps on going. What he said to me is that he just always wants to be better at every single event. So the 200 IM, he was the defending champion, but of course where he also wins his medals is 200 meter free, which we'll see later on in the games, and he has at the Olympics. So he's got these other events that you can kind of focus on, and maybe, as you say, with Tom Dean coming into the training, it's changed the setup this year, and it refreshes him, and I think that's why someone like him can keep going and going and going. Look, I think I spoke to Charlie, the press officer, afterwards. He said he's absolutely fine. Fortunately, he came and spoke to you last night as well. So that's great news. Was there a rumble like Josh Kerr in the stadium at the Diamond League when the Flower of Scotland was happening?
It wasn't a rumble. It was a wall of noise. That's how I would describe it. And it was great to chat to Duncan because, of course, he was also swimming in the relays last night. So he had about an hour's turnaround time. So for him to kind of stop and speak and be so eloquent about his gold medal and what it meant for him and the team for a couple of minutes when he had to go and get ready for his next event. Absolutely fantastic. One other just headline before we move on to some of the other stuff from yesterday. Adam Ramsay Peaty into the final of the men's 100 meters breaststroke for Team England. Hurt his finger though, so I don't think that's going to affect his performance in the final, but it was affecting his mood after the race.
And one other line, of course, Australia opened the Commonwealth Games campaign with a glittering night, it says on their press release, 6 golds in the pool and many other medals. I think that will be a familiar theme as we progress these Commonwealth Games.
Yeah, and obviously before the swimming, I was at the first medal events of the Games as well, which was at the Armadillo, which was the powerlifting. So first time ever, as we've said, that a para event has been the first medal event of these Commonwealth Games, and brilliant start for Team England. I went to see Johnny Ryle, the chef de mission, first thing yesterday morning, and he was talking about the importance of getting off to a quick start as far as the team are concerned. He said it does just sort of breed confidence with the athletes, and they've all got their little medal tables up in each of their hotels. They're in 4 different hotels, the English team, across Glasgow. So yeah, went off to the Armadillo, went to see the powerlifting. It was pretty dramatic, I've got to be honest with you, because no one knew that Mark Swan had won the gold medal, least of all him. Oh. He thought he'd won the bronze. So for people that don't know about powerlifting, it's not necessarily the athlete that lifts the biggest weight, because it's a mixed classification event, there is this kind of coefficient mathematical equation that's done where it's the weight that you lift compared to your body weight and what classification you're in. So Mark lifted 212 kilograms, then 222, failed at 232 kilograms, gave him a point score of 153.7, which actually put him level in terms of points. But what we didn't know, and no one told us, is they actually go to more decimal places. So because Mark had sitting on the leaderboard seemingly in 3rd position, he thought he'd won the bronze. And then suddenly someone told him, no, you've won the gold. And when I asked him afterwards, how has this worked out? He said, I don't know. I just asked my coach. But brilliant for Mark. First gold of the Games, first gold for Team England. First gold for him because it upgraded his silver from Birmingham 2022. I think he's a Paralympic silver medalist as well. So good to have that gold medal around the neck. And then about an hour later, Olivia Broom won bronze as well for Team England in the women's lightweight event.
From what Mark Swan said then, it reminded me of our friend and the famous quote from Barry Davis Where were the Germans? Frankly, who cares? Why did you win? Frankly, who cares? It really does not matter. But yeah, great to get England on the golden medal front, and Nigeria doing incredibly well. A couple of doubles, I think, in both the women's events, gold and silvers, and also broke the world record in powerlifting as well.
And you, where were you yesterday?
Well, I was at the gymnastics yesterday for quite a long day in the end, and I didn't quite realise it would be that long. But I went for a number of reasons. We saw the Olympic champion for Ireland, representing Northern Ireland at these Commonwealth Games, Rhys McClenaghan, competing, of course, in one of the earlier sessions, the subdivisions, as they're called in gymnastics. He set a 14.5 pommel horse score, which we thought would qualify him for the final. We were right, but he hasn't qualified first. And that's what we saw in Subdivision 3. So then we saw what you would describe as some of the big teams coming into the Commonwealth Games men's team competition. There was a gold medal up for grabs on day one, and then obviously qualification for the individual finals, which we'll see over the next few days. So you saw England coming in, you saw Canada, you saw Scotland coming in, Wales as well, and Cyprus, who got a bronze last time in Birmingham. So it was an incredible evening last night for many reasons, and we'll start with, as you said right at the top of the podcast, moments of concern, because we do send our best wishes to Gabriel Langton, a 19-year-old gymnast who fell off the horizontal bar. I won't describe what we saw because I don't need to. It was awful, and he was stretchered off. I've never been in a gymnastics arena, and I've been in many in the last 10 years, and seen the scenes and the quietness and the concern that was so evident. He was treated brilliantly, from what I could see, by the doctors. He was taken in an ambulance to hospital, and we wish him well. It was towards the end of the competition, and it was a competition, Michael, that I think between Scotland, England, Wales, Canada, and Australia, it was really unclear of who was going to win some of the medals. I thought Canada always had enough. England were really pushing them. But on the horizontal bar, it was their last of the 6 rotations, and that's where Gabriel fell. And then his teammates had to come out and perform after spending 20 minutes, obviously concerned about what was happening, a slight warm-up, and then coming on. And Luke Whitehouse, who is the European floor champion, I would say a good bet for an all-round champion here at these Commonwealth Games. He said to me afterwards, I didn't decide to warm up again, and he went on the horizontal bar, and he did a good routine, but he fell at the end. He didn't land his jump. He fell over. So that resulted in a score that he wasn't happy with of 11. But then some incredible performances from Josh Nathan and Alex Yolshan Cash as well, a 14.1 on that high bar, horizontal bar, 13.25 on the horizontal bar, a 14.1 on the parallel bars. He's a young kid, and he just really delivered in his first major competition. How England kept that together, I don't know. They won the silver medal. They dedicated it to Gabriel. Canada, as we thought, the Pan Am champions, won the gold, their first since 2006 in the Commonwealth Games. They were delighted. Australia won the bronze, and Scotland were unbelievable. They also had to do the horizontal bar as their last event, and they obviously trained with Gabriel as well as British athletes. Reuben Ward did a brilliant display, and we'll see him later in the tournament. But when I spoke to him afterwards, he was in tears because he has competed with Gabriel in European competitions. So look, lots of thoughts this morning, a mixture of emotions, I'm sure, for the gymnastics. We'll see the women's team in action today, and we wish Gabriel all the best.
So, final minute then. What are we up to today? I'm going to try and put Phil Batty. Phil Batty's the chief executive of Glasgow 2026. I'm going to try and put his comments to the test today, because he said to me the way that we've set Glasgow 2026 up means you can just very easily go around and see a number of different sports. So I'm going to try and base myself before the swimming tonight at the STC complex and the hydro. I'm going to try and see some boxing. I'm going to try and get in to see some 3x3 basketball, and I'm going to try and see the start of the netball as well, which all starts with New Zealand, bronze medalist last time against Scotland, and then the gold medalist from last time, Australia, facing Tonga on their debut. So that's going to be the morning. There's more netball, of course, throughout most of the day, and a little bit of boxing action. I'm going to try and get to see one of the home nation boxers as well later on this morning too.
Yeah, the boxing started really well, actually, Michael. Just quickly on this, every home nation competitor has won, apart from Lewis Rooney for Northern Ireland and Aaron Cullen for Scotland yesterday, who lost on points. But every other boxer that has so far been in action, and a lot of them will be in action later on in the week because they go straight to quarterfinals, but they are winning. So we are seeing some success. We've got two Scots in action, as you say, here on day 2 of these games. And Adam Ramsay Peaty goes for his 5th Commonwealth gold medal. That's the big story tonight. Michael will be there at the Tollcross Swimming Centre. But quick look at the medal table. We mentioned Australia. 6 golds, 2 silvers, 5 bronze. They are leading the way on 13 medals so far. They want the most golds and the most number of medals, and at the moment they are doing that. Nigeria, as mentioned, second in the table with 3 golds on 6 medals in total. Scotland third, 2 golds, 4 medals, and England currently fourth, 1 gold with 8 medals so far for England. And Canada are in that top 5 after that gymnastics gold medal as well.
And that Australian national anthem after a night at the pool still ringing in my ears. From Glasgow, thank you. Remember, catch us on TalkSport every day and follow Anything But Footy across your social media platforms.
This is Anything But Footy at the Glasgow 2026 Commonwealth Games